Thank you to the living God, the one source of all creation that is all love, light, wisdom, courage, and compassion. I recognize that I, as well as all my brothers and sisters having this human experience, are the beloved children of God. Thank you, God. I know that on this day, this message will reach those that need to hear it the most. That it will reach the hearts of my brothers and sisters and will show them that there is hope. It will lead them to look inside of themselves and to find the Christ in each and every one of us. Thank you, God, for being with me this day, for being with all of us, for showing us the love and light that is in this world, that there is nothing that we cannot do when we align ourselves with your plan, for your plan is greater than our plan. I now release this prayer into that of the universal law. I joyously let go. Thank you, God. Thank you, spirits. Thank you, angels. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, higher self. And so it is. Hello, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Soul Society Podcast. I'm your host, White Wolf, and today's episode, Christ Consciousness. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting podcast episode. We'll keep this episode quite short because White Wolf is feeling in a lot of pain. And so, let's go ahead and get into it. Today, we're talking about Christ Consciousness. You know, a lot of people here are talking about the return of Jesus Christ. And this is something we need to start to kind of understand a little bit. First of all, I suggest everybody to go check out the work of Billy Carson. It is extremely important that we start to look at the factual, physical tablets that we've been given, that we have in our possession from long, long ago. It's important we start looking at the Sumerian Kings list. It's important we start looking at the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's important we start looking at all of these ancient pieces of physical evidence written from long ago. Because nowadays, there's been so much manipulation in our religious cultures. Let us talk about Jesus Christ, or Yeshua. When we start to look at the evidence and start to dive deeper into it, there's a lot of parallels we start seeing with ancient teachings that are in the Bible, that are in the ancient teachings of a lot of these tablets and a lot of these other pieces of ancient history. Let us talk about the name Jesus for a sec. I'm not going to get too much into this. You know, the thing is, we have a lot of certain belief systems that keep us fixed in certain types of ways. Now, I love Yeshua. I love Christ. I love what we consider to be Jesus. But there's some things that we gotta just be more honest about. Especially when it comes to seeing and learning about the Anunnaki and learning about the ways that we were physically created here on this planet. When we say Jesus, in Spanish, Jesus is Jesus. Now, there are certain ancient languages that we get all of our current language and a lot of our systems and ideology from them. And so, when we say the word Jesus in Spanish mean Jesus, in Greek times, or maybe even later than that, they were worshiping certain individuals. Hail Zeus. Because these ancient pieces of writing, of stories, when we look at the Greek literature, and we see and hear talks about the gods, I think we're at a point now where we can start to understand that a lot of this stuff, a lot of these crazy tales really occurred, maybe not in the exact way that they're depicted, but in a way that I think we can start understanding that there's been entities with more advanced technology that have came here that passed us a lot of the knowledge that we have today. They give us a lot of our first, how to build fire, things of that nature. I'm saying this because it's important that we start to break this down a little bit, because the Christ is so much more. It is that unconditional love that we associate Yeshua with, Jesus, as we consider him today. This Christ consciousness is that unconditional love that all of us have inside of us. And as we raise our consciousness, we start to develop this space of unconditional love. Jesus, as we know him, Yeshua, was a master teacher. He had such great purpose. His stories and legacy is so important to the development of our species. But to start to understand that is not so much to worship him, but to be like him, to learn how to embody that space of unconditional love for all of our brothers and sisters having this human experience. Because now we're in a place that it's time for that unconditional love to come back into the world in a way that we haven't seen in quite some time. This, in my opinion, is when we're talking about the resurrection of Christ. Right now, we're just in a time period of many great changes. Changes that could be for the good or the bad, based off of how we decide to go about things. Let's just look at the world today. Right now, the darkness is out here just fucking ship. And it is going to keep fucking ship until we finally start to say, we do not want this. We do not want to have systems that work against us, that drain out every aspect of love, that turn us against each other, that create states of violence, anger, hatred, ignorance, grief. That we want to make something better. We have to get to a point where we're willing to take physical action to make things better. My problem with a lot of the new age type of spirituality, as it's classified, there's so many different classifications. I'm just talking about the way that We have individuals. We talk about unconditional love. We talk about spreading love and light. We talk about raising our vibration. We talk about all these different awesome spiritual stuff. But then we have nothing to back it up. We don't live our lives in a way that helps us to experience, to actually raise our vibration. They're just like concepts that we're spreading around without any type of real meaning. When we talk about manifesting, there's so much more to this manifestation. Vision boards are nice. Trust. I got me a vision board too. Trust. These things do work. But when we get to a point where we're so scared to take action, and we say things like, I am going to focus on myself and myself only and raise only my vibration, and that is going to raise everybody else's vibration, and that by itself is going to create world peace. That is a type of false ideology that is just not logical. Yes, we have to raise our own individual vibration first. But we have to take physical action towards making this world heaven on earth, towards transmuting the darkness. We cannot just be in our little hidey holes. We cannot just stand idly by. We have to do stuff. We have to move ourselves. We have to plan. We have to coordinate. We have to surpass our limits. And when I say surpass our limits, I mean, if you're at 5%, if that's all you feel you got inside yourself, you give it 6%. If you're at 10% and that's all you feel like you got in yourself, you give it 11%. We need to not think of going full throttle every single moment. That is not realistic. But we need to learn how to surpass our limits because we want to grow. And it takes going to that edge of wherever we're at and giving it just that little extra push. Every day, every week, every month, being consistent. And then we see that extraordinary growth take place. We can't just talk and talk and talk. Knowledge not applied is completely useless. We have to start applying things in our life for real. We have to start being honest about how we see that the systems that are around us are purposely working against us, and not even be afraid to say it. Because right now we're at a point of a downward spiral that is going to keep slowly picking up pace until we finally decide to take action to make the changes for the things that we want. Instead of stand idly by, just letting the things we don't want continue to grow. Let me tell a little story. So, I was out here doing some compassion training today, developing that vibration of compassion, which I will go more into how to develop that in our emotional training session down the line. But there was an individual who, when when people get pushed to that point where they're just so sick and tired of everything, they've experienced so much darkness, hatred, so much ickiness that they are just sick and tired. They are just so tired. They feel so unheard. They're just hurting so bad. This individual was just out in the middle of the street, yelling at people, cussing at people. Just doing that process, which I'm pretty sure you've seen happen a couple times. And so I just took some time I sat with this person. I talked to this person, went up to this person. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" I gave him $5. I was like, "How you doing today? How's it going?" And this person just started talking. When people are at a certain point, especially from drugs and different types of things that they've experienced, people will not make logical sense all the way. People will flip inside themselves into so many different personalities, into so many different just energy blockages that you see them switch back and forth, up and down. They have no control of themselves in certain types of ways. And I just know for where I'm at now, because luckily for me, I'm a man who's been in the infantry who ain't scared of shit. So I have no problem sitting down with anybody. I have no problem talking with people and being like, look, if you're going into all these different states of mind, I'm gonna be here to hold a place of compassion. I'm gonna let you talk, even if this doesn't make any type of logical sense. Some of the things this individual said did make sense. You know, you try to piece together the story that they're trying to tell. But really, they just need somebody to listen. They just need somebody to hold a place of non-judgment, to show them that they're human, that they matter, that they're worthy, that we're all worthy, to listen to each other, to just hear each other. And so as this individual just kept going, you can only do so much. And it's not about doing the most absolute. It's literally just holding a space where people can express themselves and see that you're not going to just judge them so harshly and beat them down and call them worthless. As this person was going, an important factor that I think with whoever I tried to spread this message with, whoever I come across, is that they're not alone. That God is with them. That God is with all of us. That you are loved. And it is okay to have the feelings that you're having. That I know that you've been beaten down in so many different ways. But in this moment, it's okay to just let it out. It's okay to be mad, to cry, to laugh, to cry, to be mad again. And being real, seeing people, you know, this is the thing. I'm a guy who likes talking with individuals who been through some stuff because they don't care. They don't care how they come across. They're just being themselves. In a world of fakeness, that's appreciated, at least by me. Because then we can actually heal. We can actually just be real with each other. None of us is perfect. But brother, sister, if I see you hurting, I'm gonna try to just hold a space for you, to allow you to be yourself, to express yourself. And sometimes, you know, you gotta have the discernment. You can't do this with everybody. Because some people are at a place that they might attack you. You have to be able to make that judgment. After me and this person was talking, though, they were just crying so hard. And at the end, they just gave me such a big hug. And it was just... It was a moment that reminds me why I do this training, why this stuff is important, why compassion is so powerful. As they walked off, pray. Pray for all of us to come together, to create spaces of healing, spaces of non-judgment, where we all can start to heal. Now, when we interact with each other like this is not only when you're doing compassion training. Me specifically, I was focusing on compassion this day, but it's only to prepare myself for when my intuition is telling me, hey, you're needed. Let me tell you, not too long ago, I was going out getting some pizza for my family. And there's just this man in the middle of this intersection. And he is going off, brother. He is going off. You can tell that he is not all the way there at the moment. He is just hurting badly. And after I got my pizza, I made sure to get some plates. I put a couple slices on the plate. I go over to my brother. I'm like, how's it going, brother? And let me tell you, now he's going off at me. He is cussing me out left and right and just all different, a wave of emotions. I hand him the pizza. And when people are in certain states from drugs or from alcohol or from different things that mess with our faculties, it's like seeing a sparkle inside of him that he cannot explain, but you feel it twinkle and you see him change. My man went from cussing me out to being like, oh shit, we're best buddies. You know, it's non-logical. People will switch back and forth. And then we started talking. And during this conversation, he switched to so many different emotions. And it was just a very interesting experience. Because he was very appreciative. He was very grateful. But he was definitely very much not all the way there from different things that he's been taking at I don't know what times. But here's the thing. I fully trust myself. Because after a little bit, after we were talking, I knew it was time to leave. You know, this dude, he was a cool dude. Definitely hurt. Definitely switching between anger, sadness, happiness, sadness, anger, like a merry-go-round. But this is why, again, tune into yourself, because you can tell when a certain energy arises. And when that energy comes up, it's time to keep moving. You have to watch your own safety. You have to take care of yourself. You cannot put yourself into dangerous positions. And it's really understanding what that means for you. Me, once again, I'm lucky because I'm a man. And as a man who trains, who develops, who's been through some stuff, like, I ain't scared of shit. I ain't scared to talk with people. I ain't scared to go up to people. No matter how they may appear sometimes. And my intuition is telling me you need to talk to him. I trust that. When my intuition says it's time to go, I trust that. And so I say this because you don't only have to show compassion and love and kindness to each other when you're training or preparing yourself. And a lot of times, this stuff just springs up so randomly and out of nowhere. And that's why you do the training. So you're ready for when it springs up out of nowhere. So you already have some type of understanding about how you're going to go about things. You gotta be tactical. You gotta learn from experience. So I'm saying this because when we're talking about the Christ consciousness, that is such a whole different level of love and compassion that will take a lot of developing and training and starting to learn ourselves and doing things in different ways and holding different types of loving spaces and being vulnerable and a whole conglomerate of other skills and aspects. And our man Yeshua showed us through his life, his teachings, that it can be done. That this is meant for all of us. So we can heal each other, this planet, in a whole new, loving, amazing type of way. Right now, there's just so many different factors impacting us at the moment. Our food is skyrocketing. The cost of living is skyrocketing. People ain't getting paid enough to survive. Our communities are being destroyed. It's crazy. We're poisoning our waters and our food. We're pushing ideologies that tell you not to move your body, that tell you you should be confused, that you should find happiness in these external elements. And all of those are illusions. Because right now we have people who are doing amazing things, who are creating farms on trucks, who are turning their complexes, different housings, into literally backyard farms that are redoing, restructuring how we think as a community. There are people creating so much amazing technology that have the capabilities to assist us, to allow us to make things so efficient, so just dang freaking smart that when we start using them for the right purposes, it will revolutionize the way we do a lot of our processes. But for us to really start making a change, we have to take action. We have to get organized. We could have all the good intentions, all the technology. We could have literally everything that we need to transform this world lined up, stacked up, and ready to go. And it would not matter if we don't change our ideology first. Let me just say, I was in the food pantry line the other day, and it was just a beautiful day, nice, a little chilly, but it had good vibes at first. And as time kept going, people put their bags in the line to hold their place, and then they waited in their cars. The line kept getting bigger, and when it was time for the food pantry to open up, they came back to their bags. And it started a huge fight. People were cussing each other out left and right. It was a lot of chaos. Even though we're all in the line to get some food, all of us together, people started getting so upset over who was first, who was there first and last, and I've been waiting longer than you, and this, that, and the other. It's about how we act. People allowed their emotions to control them so heavily. That's the thing when we talk about all of our systems. It's more about how we act towards everything. There's many great organizations out here. But here's the thing. A lot of them have to operate in certain types of ways. They have to do certain types of things because they run off of a lot of government money. And they do what the government tells them what to do. Now, me personally, I volunteered at a lot of different places. Looking at just the homeless shelters. Some of the requirements you need to get into a shelter are more than people have access to. Heck, a lot of people don't even have IDs or birth certificates or a lot of the paperwork that they say you need. Because when you sleep on the streets and because we have literally no space to just allow people to be at, we have a lot of, I love the police, but the police just come on through and throw away all their shit. You just throw away all of it and tell them to keep fucking moving. And it's like a cycle that feeds off of itself in negativity. Let's look at our school system. We have so many different blockages in this aspect from, first of all, the children. The way that they're acting nowadays because we're allowing them to be programmed from social media. Social media is destroying the youth at such an exceptional rate. And we are quiet. Moving up from them and their behavior. The teachers. Oh, the pressure that is on the teachers, as well as the meager wages that we pay them to not even be enough to survive off of, is just what is going on. We are telling the teachers to do the most, but giving them the most bare minimum. At the same time, forcing them to go through certain types of structures that at this point in time we can just honestly point out are non-logical. The school board, oh my gosh. They're just running things at the top like kingpins, following being yes men from what the government is telling them. All the while, the entire school system being set up to create our children into these little slaves, to make them be little robots. Instead of letting them be children. Instead of letting them be outside. Learning outside. Learning nature. Allowing them to understand the process of growth, of growing food, of carpentry, of different skills. There is so much more to all of these different levels of things, different levels of organizations that on the surface look good. But as we dig deeper into them, we start seeing the control that is behind them, because where do they get their money from? A lot of times it's from the government. And when you get your money from somebody, they're usually the ones telling you how to do things, what to do. They want specific things to be done. Now, these specific things, a lot of times, are extremely destructive, or just extremely non-logical, or just extremely counterintuitive. Even our community centers. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the community centers. They do some good work, but we are barely scratching the surface of what we can really do with a community center. Right now, I'll just speak about the community centers in my area. It feels like they're so picky and choosy about certain things that it's like, it's not for the community. It's for certain individuals, even though this is a community center. When we're talking about community gardens, they make you pay to use a community garden. Like, bro, I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. It's like we are removing the entire point of certain things by certain rules and regulations. And of course, we always have that safety versus security type of issue we face in literally everything. At this point, we can just be honest. Because there's a lot of people showing that we can do things in a completely different way. Let's look at our religious structures. If the religious structures would work together, there is like, I don't know how many churches in my city alone. And I see some churches doing good things. I see some churches creating an entire apartment complex. And I see many other churches sticking to themselves. When we say we're helping out the community, being open one day a week, running only events that are really based around our holidays, which our holidays are really based around sinning anyways. It's like we need to make things make sense. Especially when we're saying that these structures are supposed to be the points that channel God's energy. If we really want to channel God's energy, we need to be loving and compassionate and start doing things for each other by coming together. Because we are all one. And it is time that all of our systems start to intertwine amongst each other. We should all be helping each other out in every level. It's just a time where we have to allow things to keep getting darker. But while things are getting darker, we are preparing. We are getting ready, and we will be ready when the time arises. Because like, if you've been paying attention to the training sessions, there's a season for everything. And the season of darkness is about to end. And when the season of light is called upon, we will be ready. It all begins when we're finally sick and tired of being sick and tired. When we're finally sick and tired of working 9 to 5s, being slaves to corporations that don't give a fuck about us. When we're finally sick and tired of slaving away to pay for food that is poisoning us and destroying the soil, while we can grow our own food at apartments, at schools, at corporations. Literally, we can grow it everywhere. We're growing it on backs of trucks. When we're finally sick and tired of wasting our mind watching mind-numbing TV that don't provide any substance that don't show us in any type of good light, that only show the worst sides of everybody. When we're finally sick and tired of allowing our body to waste away. When we're finally sick and tired of hurting, of feeling like there's no hope, because there is. The hope is inside of each and every one of us, and bringing it out for the world to see. The hope is showing that we learn how our energy works. We learn how to open up our pathways, to connect to pieces of ourselves, to connect to God, to start to understand that you as an individual have everything you need already inside of you. That all these systems that people are telling us, they're useful, but ultimately, you already have the answer inside of you. And it's being sick and tired of being beat down all the fucking time so we can start to listen to ourselves. And while we are finally being sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we're waiting for others to be done being sick and tired of being sick and tired, we're going to be growing, learning, developing, planning, training, showing that there is so much more. And behind the scenes, we are going to be doing it, getting ready. Because the exciting moment that when we finally have enough individuals who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, we are going to spring out in so much love and light, it is going to blind. It's going to blind us. It's going to be like, my eyes, I can't stop crying from the love and light. Oh, and we'll come through as groups, being compassionate, being caring. We're going to be coming through as groups with a whole new type of system. Like, what? We can have food for free? Well, let me rephrase that, because nothing is free. Freedom isn't free. You gotta work for it. The type of work and sacrifice that requires your blood, sweat, and tears. That requires discipline. That requires looking past this illusion, finding your intuition, trusting it, building, creating something that is going to blow your mind. This is the time, and it's coming. But it all starts with our internal work first. Because like I keep saying, it all changes when we're finally sick and tired of being sick and tired. So, train yourselves. Let's get ready. Because I'm pretty sure pretty soon, people are probably going to be done working at a lot of these corporations. And at the same time, there's going to be a lot of different new type of regulations that are going to be trying to put the squeeze on all of us. And you are going to have courage, my friend. You're going to have to trust yourself. Otherwise, like we've seen in the vaccines with the coronavirus, how the safety versus security allowed them to make certain types of decisions to turn us against each other. It was the vaccinated versus the unvaxxed. That was a simple taste of the type of battles we have ahead. You're going to need to have to trust yourself, because you're going to have to pick a side. The side of doing what you're told by certain entities that want to control you, or the side of doing what you feel is in your heart that God is telling you. That you, only you, know yourself. That only you can trust yourself. Yeah, it doesn't even matter what the fuck I'm saying. It doesn't matter what any of us saying. The battle will literally be in you looking at yourself and choosing, will I go all in on myself? Or will I give in to the fear, to the illusion that these entities try to create? And so, we're going to end it there. Now is the time to learn how to truly trust yourself. And know that God is with you every step of the way. You are not alone. We are all one. And we will make this world beautiful, loving, peaceful, and joyous for everybody. And so, until the next exciting episode of the Soul Society podcast, everybody get stronger, dig deeper, look inside of your soul, and give it everything you've got. My brothers and sisters have this human experience. Have a beautiful and blessed rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of this month. Love and light lead the way.